Well, thank you and for joining this Red Hat Tech event. I'm very pleased to be invited today. Thanks, Quinton. And the previous session was very interesting and clear. And I think there's some connections that you see in my slides. So, but often I'm asked the question about our most recent portfolio, whether it's from internal people, whether it's from partners. So I'd like to just to start with reviewing our product portfolio, and we could also for those of you who just joined us and our partners who sometimes are not familiar with the latest and greatest we've been pushing. And actually, we release at a cadence probably of 2, 3, 4 major releases of products on a yearly basis. So these things are changing constantly. Plus also the recent acquisitions of Fuse and Polymeter. So I think it's important that we have a quick refresher. So next slide. So our product portfolio is basically across 3 technology areas. So on one side, we have developer tooling. On the other side, we can also manage those with our management offering. And these are basically revolving around the foundations, which is JBoss EAP, our application platforms, application servers that everyone knows, and also our Tomcat offering, JBoss AWS, and Data Grid, and also for presentation layer with Portal. The second technology areas covers integration. So those integration products are JBoss Fuse Services and JBoss Fuse Service Works, and for SOA integration, process integration, JBoss AMQ for messaging, and JBoss Data Virtualization for data integration type activity. And the latest and third technology is around process automation. So with JBoss BPM, Business Process Management, and JBoss BRMS, our business rules management systems. So again, I say we have developer tooling for that, so you can design and develop against all those runtime today, and even beyond those, as I'll go through in the slides later. We're also working on mobile. We talked about it last year at the Red Hat Tech Exchange. So we have tooling that allow you to develop Cordova type applications. And also on the other end of the spectrums, once your applications are deployed, we have JBoss Operation Network that allow you to monitor these applications. Okay, so next slide. So why does JBoss matters to Red Hat? First of all, emerging product subscription at 12% of Red Hat revenue. A very significant portion of those revenues are coming from middleware. Also services revenue. Middleware account for a significant portion of all Red Hat services. That's very important to know. You can engage a lot of services through middleware products. So at the other end of the spectrum, from the operating system to actually applications, runtimes, middleware runtimes, it's a little bit more complex. Sometimes customers need to have request assistance from not only from Red Hat but also from our SIs and ISVs. If you look at our subscription, we have today over 4,000 active subscriptions, and that doesn't account for people who use services, people who downloaded our free version on jboss.org. Actually, today we ship not just the project, but we also allow unlimited free developer use of our supported products. So EAP 6 and soon EAP 7 GA will be available for download. So the developer will already use that in their environments and will be very comfortable to up to production with already a GA. So we're not accounting those. 4,000 active subscriptions is people who are actually paying us today. So that's a very large number and growing every year. So we have a target in FY15 of 38% with an integration product growth target of 60%. And for the automation product, we have a target of 70%. I've seen many in the years I've been at Red Hat and also as a customers. The sales cycle for middleware typically span across a number of quarters. it's not just that, but to reach its full size and its full maturity into an account, it goes up to 3 years. So there is a lot of great upsell and cross-sell opportunity. So typically a six-figure deals will start with a 5 or even a 4-figure deal in the first 2 or 3 quarters. So don't give up. I think there's a lot of great opportunities in accounts. I've seen that in Australia with risk plumbing. I remember one of our senior solution architects stayed on that account and started with very small amounts, just deploying the app server, and now they're running the whole Red Hat portfolio. So that's fantastic. And I think you'll see that a very large amount of customers will learn the value, and you can teach them, and you can grow into that account and penetrate. And it'll take time, but you'll get there, and you can see basically 2 or 3 folds of increase in revenue over time. Next slide. So also, I think most of our revenue comes from our top tier customers, but that's where we can actively reach out today. And as we mature and get more global SIs on board, I think we'll increase our growth will even reach the 38%, even beyond what we've targeted today. If you look at integration automation products, they're growing at much faster rates than 38%. And I have actually a couple of slides from Gartner that will take you through these numbers. So let's have a look. So you see in that slide, it's very clear from the chart that rules on BPM will continue to grow at the greatest rate. So if you look at the compound at 37%, Red Hat is well positioned to take advantage of this, as we have a comprehensive VRMS and BPM offering on our portfolio that I just explained earlier. So in a $15 billion market, I think there's a very large opportunity for us to grow. I think in Asia, we're talking about probably $1 or $2 billion for that market. So I think it's definitely an area, especially in rules on BPM, where we see a very great opportunity for growth. And as we look also on our customers, a lot of them have been looking at moving away from proprietary. So if you look at rules, one of the major leaders is IBM in some of the regions, and we can take them out. And I have a couple of slides later of a very interesting announcements, and everyone will be pleased that in APAC we rock. So the PaaS market, how does it look today? I think we in the previous keynote, we saw that there's the hybrid, there's the public and the private cloud. But from the Gartner slide here, there's actually we see that the PaaS market has significant growth over the next couple of years. And as more and more organizations adopt internal private PaaS. The PaaS of the future, as we call it, is the analogous to the new age application server. Organization will invest heavily not just into the PaaS infrastructure, but also in the enterprise middleware products and modules that allow them to assemble these applications. So if you look at I talked about the RMS, and according to a recent report here regarding Japanese end-user firm, Red Hat JBoss VRMS is now #1 in Japan. And, congratulations to Japan. Yeah. So, I mean, if Japan can do it, you can. So, I think congratulations for Red Hat KK to have overtaken the long-time VRMS leader IBM in Japan. So that's fantastic. I think we have a great product and a great team, and I think we can repeat. So today we have a number of challenges. Everyone knows the application in enterprise services, we need still decoupled from hardware. Today we see a convergence in the previous keynote actually on physical, virtual, private, public, and hybrid cloud. The challenge is to create one seamless environment for the application. Customer demands are also changing. We see a demand for immediate, if you look at especially in the insurance market, people want to react, want to push out new products if the bank rates are going down 1 point or a quarter of a point, you need to react quickly. So the life cycle is much shorter. The application needs also to be pervasive. The same application you build today on desktop has to be available on mobile. And we see actually a growing trend of moving away, and we call it the internet unbundling. The application that were available on the mobile, on the web, and becoming available on the mobile, are now also becoming a single-purpose apps also. So we see app as a service coming up today, and these apps need to be aware. They need to be aware of your locations. They need to be aware of maybe sensors that send them information, whether it's your blood sugar level, whether it's Quinton when he's running faster than DP, for example. You need to have this information. You need to have applications that can process this data. And you'll see actually in some of the sessions later with Christina talking about Internet of Things, talking about also new protocols that allow you to capture and process that information, whether it's on physical, whether it's on virtual, and whether it's on the past. So we have that today. So yes, the underlying technology changed. We have the cloud. Your application needs to be able to run on the cloud. You need to deploy it seamlessly. I mentioned earlier, our tooling are able give you the ability to deploy, to write applications that deploy not only on your laptop, and also on the cloud. So we have full integration with OpenShift today. We've demonstrated that. It's a very powerful mechanism that allow you to demonstrate to your partners, to your customers, your advancement, your process, your progress. And I think it's a great technology ahead. If you move to the next slide, so how does the modern application look like today? So I think it needs to be lightweight. So we demonstrated with EAP6 today that we reduced the footprint by 10 times. So from previous version of EAP. That trend is going up. And that's why we use the first app server to be deployed efficiently on the cloud environment was JBoss EAP6. And with EAP7, we continue that trend for even giving more majority, more cloud readiness on other dimensions to be cloud ready, to be dynamic, adaptable, and self-healing. So how do we do that today? So we've demonstrated this year actually at the Red Hat Summit that we cover, and we'll cover them in more detail this week. We have a very large number of sessions that will go in technical details, but these capabilities are here today. And we have Fuse. Fuse is built on SOA principle at its heart. It's based on Fuse technologies such as Camel, AMQ for messaging, Fuse Service Work for process integration, and also SwitchYard and SRAMP for governance capabilities. Same thing for VPN. We also, how do you tie in all these services together? And that's exactly what we're doing with the Red Hat JBoss VPN suite. That's how you assemble and put all these services together. So you have actually all the components for you to architect and implement these solutions today, whether it's on-premise or whether it's on the cloud, because these are actually now available on the cloud. So we need to modernizing the development of platform. So next slide, sorry, to suit this new landscape, to provide a platform for the modern app developer. That's not just actually Java, but Ruby, Python, the API developer, backend services, integration, and business process developer. So we are building this next generation app platform today, and it's called XPath, which we announced last year. Actually, Paul Cormier did a webcast, and we also announced that last year at the Java one. So what is XPath? It's a richness of the JBoss middleware services that we bring together to the cloud and to provide a better way to build and deploy applications. So, but today the modern app developer want these capabilities and integrate it together. So I think that's what we have delivered, and that's our directions today. next slide. So you hear about one of the core principles of Agile is satisfy customer through continuous delivery of valuable software, and that feedback loop from from product to developer actually is the notion of what we call DevOps. Traditionally in IT, there is a time and complexity associated with when you go from design to build your application and to deploy it. You were talking about months. You were talking about $10,000s, $100,000s. Today, you're talking about free, because you can already start on OpenShift, and you're already talking about 5 to 10 minutes. So today, we actually, in the previous session, we say things keep changing. And yes, it's hard to keep up, but this is the demand. The demand to have that cycle, that iteration reduced to a minimum, and also from a cost perspective, from a time to market perspective. So I think we have today the technology to do that, and that's OpenShift and OpenStack. And the developer today is able to reduce that time to market and be responsive to change. Next slide. So today, what I've mentioned, we have that today. But what is in the next 5, 10 years, and what goes beyond, and what kind of problem we need to solve? So I think we have worked a lot on what we call reactive frameworks. So Vertex is our answer to the Node.js-like. However, Vertex goes well beyond that. Vertex can run not only JavaScript at its runtime, but also it can run Ruby and other languages. So I think it's our approach to asynchronous processing. And for that matter, we're now working with standards that are emerging, like reactive streams, and we hope to standardize those processing APIs. So I think this is where we have a lot of effort going on today. We're also working in partnership with ARM and the likes for Internet of Things. So you see a number, and I think I have that device somewhere I was showing. Actually, that's probably waking up Sébastien Blanc, who helped me to build a demo on this. That's actually a small board that is actually capturing information, GPS data locations, temperature, and other sensing information, bundling that as a JSON payload, sending it over REST and also MQTT. So that device running on battery is actually connected to our Wi-Fi here. It has a microprocessor and a microcontroller to be able to send this data to XPath today, and also to our unified push server to send notification to the poor Sebastian, who is probably waking up with that. So I'll probably switch it off for the sake of his sleep. And so you'll see actually Christina and others will talk about Internet of Things. We have lots of efforts going into that direction. So we see a large opportunity in the future. Again, that will drive big data and other capabilities like cloud. Because most of these devices and most of these Internet of Things projects that are popping up in the industry are actually linked to cloud. So this is an area that we're watching very carefully. The future of mobile platform. Last year, the Red Hat Tech Exchange, we talked about mobile 1.0, and that revolves around push notifications. We talk about our platform that that has capabilities that have been delivered with Aerogear on the client side, with an SDK, and we will be supporting on our first platform on-premise push push notifications. So it will be a cartridge, but so it's already available on the cloud, but you also be able to have it as a product, internal product, to allow you to push notification, whether it's from the Google Cloud, from the Apple Cloud, or just browser-type notification with Firefox and others, simple push notification. But the future, we're actually investing in different projects, and we use, I talked about Vertex, there's a number of server-side JavaScript runtimes out there. So it's not just Java EE. There is actually a lot of work that's going on in that direction. So beyond 1.0, we're working on data encrypting on client side, especially client-side data, server-side data, which we can access today with LiveOak. And we also have an answer for server-side JavaScript. And also we need to work on server-side JavaScript integration. Think of it like a camel plus JavaScript. So that's are the top tier things we're focusing on for the mobile platform. Encryption is very important. So as we have data that is kept on the device, we need to also focus on data synchronization, offline capabilities. We have some of that capabilities today, but the encryption is very important. Device can be lost or left somewhere unattended, and we need to secure those. So that's for mobile. For the future of EAP, today we are at our 6th generation of EAP. We're going to ship EAP 6.3 today. The drivers and technology trends around the future of EAP, which is actually based on the Java EE standards. Today we have E7 that we certify with Whitefly 8. EAP 7 will be based on that. The technical driver for that actually revolves around threefold. The first one is enterprise capability. We've seen things that, I talk quite often to customers in India, and very often we say, oh, do you have batch capabilities? And that is actually now standard. So E7 includes batch capability as a new API. And it's very similar to Spring Batch. So you'll be very pleased to see that coming up. So we have that already implemented and certified in Whitefly, and it'll be coming up in EAP 7. The other areas are around mobility, where we have new APIs like WebSocket, JSON. Actually, one of those will be already available on EAP 6.3, which will be shipped in the next few weeks. And of course, EAP 7 will have all these APIs certified and compliant with E7. So XPath also, messaging consolidation, big data, NoSQL support, and more mobile capabilities beyond it. So these are also productivity. I mentioned about new APIs, also increment of APIs like CDI, like messaging. So you'll see that. So that's natural evolution of the EE platform. There's no new big paradigm shift, but it's mostly API increment and new API that are tying to enterprise or mobility. Next slide. So I'd like to conclude this presentation with a word on security. So the number of active threat groups rising rapidly today. I think since multiplied by 4 since 2011. I think today it reached 300. We have increased nation states activities. We have vulnerable systems placed on the internet compromised in less than 15 minutes, and 95% of our networks can be compromised in some way. And as mobile platform grow, and I mentioned client-side data encryption, of course, server-side, I think directed attack will rise. So I think we're very aware of that, and we have a very good SRT team, and that's very important to articulate that in addition to our value proposition. Red Hat's value proposition is unique, as it not only offers first-class subscription support, but it also has a unique mechanism to deliver asynchronous security patches to address these vulnerabilities that have been detected today. So that doesn't exist in any other open source vendors. Some of our proprietary vendors have this capability, but typically you have to wait for the next release. So Red Hat has, and that's something that can be a deal winner. And I think it's a very important value prop that you can articulate to your customer, especially in these days. Okay, so I will terminate with the next two slides from Paul Cormier. The future is now. We have already a number of sessions lined up for you. And I recommend you to attend all the middleware ones. and please learn, practice, and ask us questions. We have all the engineering team that working very closely with the field. I have very good example, especially Indian Railway. We have also Indian Army. We also have the Japanese team with entity. We can engage with the tier 1 customers directly. If you need our help, please do not hesitate to contact us, either myself directly or anyone for that matter in our group. But don't forget to put a ticket with GSS and send it to us as well, so we can keep track and be responsive in a timely manner. And the future is open, so everything we do is open. All the projects I told you are available online. Even our product now, they're available for download to our developers and to customers, developers, and partners. We've seen, actually, I mentioned EAP6, and it was a request we had for many years. EAP6 was only available for subscribed customers, or you had to register for, how to say, an evaluation. That took a long time. Now it's just a click away, and we've seen, actually, I was talking to TCS in India, and to the head of architecture. His group has actually used that version. And I think it's a big game changer, because people are not downloading anymore the open source version, the project, sorry, excuse me. They are downloading the product. So they're developing where they're deploying. So they want to keep that mantra. So these customers who already have downloaded the AP6 GA, and we'll do that for the products, you'll be able to basically monetize when they go to production. So I think it's coming up. We have this data. We can share that with you, and I guess we can leverage that. Okay, so thank you, and I'll pass this back on to your friends. Thank you.